What changed between our last conversations?
Well, the fact that Russell Wilson got involved with coming to the Steelers, is what started to change. And when that happened, now, that was going to push Mason Rudolph out, in which they were talking to Mason Rudolph about, re-signing him. Sunday night, they thought that any deal with Russell Wilson was done, was over. And then things changed in the next couple hours, and that's why at 11:45 p.m. Sunday night that they agreed to the deal with Russell Wilson. So they didn't think it was going to happen. Rich, I can't sit here and tell you what happened or who made it happen, but someone or something happened, and he decided to sign with the Steelers. That pushes out Mason Rudolph from re-signing. He no longer wants to re-sign here, which I get. And then, of course, Kenny Pickett is just upset and unhappy. And, I'm not going to sit here and say through a little hissy fit, but just told them that, that this isn't what he thought it was going to be. He was upset, started acting, in their opinion, not the way they would have expected. And that's what they thought. We've heard Mike Tomlin say before, Rich, as you well know, he wants volunteers, not hostages. And if, Kenny Pickett was going to behave that way and felt that he didn't want to stand up and fight, then they were going to get rid of him. And they did. And shortly after they made the trade, they went back in touch with the Bears and made the deal for Justin Fields. 3 weeks ago, nobody would have thought this quarterback room of Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Kenny Pickett would all be gone, and the new quarterback room would be Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. But here it is.
And all it would cost them would be, just for this year in salary alone, about $4 million in change,
right,
and a draft choice in next year's draft that could be as low as a 6 and as high as a 4. But lots of questions just to follow up there. Again, the Sunday that you're referring to is the Sunday before the new league year opened up, not this past Sunday. Correct. When Russell Wilson, I guess, came to Pittsburgh from a commercial flight from Newark Airport after chatting with the Giants, and you thought that whatever the conversations were between the Steelers and Russell, the Steelers thought for a brief bit when Sunday night was hitting and getting to that new league year negotiating window opening up, and that would obviously throw things in a different direction. They were thinking Russ wasn't coming, but what is your reporting on how Russ did arrive, not just on the radar screen of the Steelers, but as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and what assurances was he told by the Steelers?
Rich, he had a 90-minute Zoom call. He was in Pittsburgh on that Friday, and they did a Zoom call with the team president, Art Rooney II, who was in Florida. And so that meeting was supposed to last 20 minutes, and Russell Wilson said it lasted 90, and that he just knew he kind of hit it off with them. All that being said, again, 2 days later, they weren't sure the deal was going to happen. And I don't know. What I've been told is that I can't tell you what exactly they said to Russell Wilson, but I think from what I understand from their end, the only understanding was that maybe Russell Wilson would take the first snap of training camp as the 9 times Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning quarterback, 36-year-old veteran, and but from that point on, that the snaps would be split, and there would be a competition with Kenny Pickett. But it was Monday morning when that all changed in Kenny Pickett's mind, and he basically did it to himself, Rich, by things he said and his attitude. And they weren't going. I don't want to say they were accommodating him. They just thought at this point they weren't going to put up with it. And some of that goes back to last year, Rich, with the way he handled being benched. Well, not being benched, with not getting his starting job back after Mason Rudolph came in and all of a sudden made the offense look like an NFL offense, something it wasn't doing when Kenny Pickett was healthy. I know he was 7-4 as a starter. He did a nice job, but he threw 6 touchdown passes and averaged 16.5 points in those 11 games. And after that Cleveland debacle, 13-10 in Cleveland, they were going to bench Kenny Pickett. But that's what led to the firing of Matt Canada. So it wasn't exactly like they were enamored with his play to that point, but they were willing to go into year 3 with him But again, that's all a moot point now because Russell Wilson came in, and that was the end of Kenny Pickett.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.